Welcome back. So this video is going to be about how my inventory system works. So I thought I'd start at the beginning and also note that this system works for me. So you have to sort of figure out what works for you. It might be a little different or making adjustments because I wasn't always this way. I've had to make changes over the years based on where was I living at the time, and now that I'm in my own house, I have the space and the ability to make adjustments and move things around and things like that. So anyways, so at the beginning would be here starting a brand new listing. So I went to the create listing, and I have this one going. It was in my draft folder. So last summer, eBay made some changes to the listings and how you went in it. Usually you would go in it and you would find this SKU as you were going through things, and it was just right there. So for a little while, I didn't know what happened to it. And then I was watching another video, and they happened to note that when you're in the listings, you go to over here at see title options, and this was not checked. So because I couldn't figure out where was the SKU section, and what I ended up doing for a little while was I would go put the listing up, and then I'd have to go back and put the SKU in after the fact, after it was already up, because then my SKU column was showing up. So then I finally figured out, okay, I saw them do this and I'm like, yes, thank you. So now it's in there all the time. When I bring up creating listings, it's there. All right, so now you can see some of my examples here. So S4 is shelf 4. And those are the shelves behind me, which I'll show you in a little bit. The date, and these are just examples. The date is the date something was listed. Whatever I'm working on, the date I listed is the date that goes here. And the reason that I do that is I do a lot of sell similar, which it works wonderful for me. But when you do a sell similar, you're basically starting the clock over again. So what happens is, if you say you're running a sale and you want to put everything that's been listed over 30 days for 25% off, for an example, if you do sell similar, then everything is going to be listed under 30 days if you do it as much as I do. So I figured I need to know when some things were listed. Now, in this particular example, the reason that it says Joe after the date is because it was something that my son brought to me from probably a toy, an old thing he wasn't using anymore, so that I know that that was something that was his, which I probably would know anyways. And usually we come up with some sort of system. If it sells, he gets some or even all of the money. Don't worry, I take the taxes and fees out first, then he gets the rest. So all right, so I always forget that this laptop is not a touch screen. So, okay, so that's pretty much how the SKU system works for me. So I have things that go on shelves. I have things going in totes. Everything has its own letters and numbers. Like S4 is shelf number 4. So I'll show you that in a bit. A9 is that's sort of how I number my totes. So I'll show those too. And then I think, yeah, RS is the rolling shelf, because right now, see, that one may change, because right now I have like the comics and all my vinyl records on there, but I don't want it to stay that way. I want that rolling shelf to be empty most of the time so that I can move inventory from room to room and just, but right now it's serving a purpose, holding vinyl and magazines and things like that. B1, let's see, so those are totes. And then I think I also have one called, says Lego. I have a shelf. One of my previous videos, I picked up a shelf that was for old Lego displays in a store, so that's why I call it the Lego shelf, and then where it is on that shelf. So it's like, basically you just have to name them what you know you're going to remember. So let's see. Okay, so that is done. And then once your items are listed, I have to scroll over here. Oops. No. Over here, let me see if I can get that centered better. There we go. All right, so your custom SKU goes into a column, and as I was saying in the previous section, we've got RS, and then this item was listed on January 27th, 2024. This also helps when I am doing inventory purging. So I can see when the original listing date and how long something was in the system, and determining, okay, how many views does this item have? Am I getting watchers on it consistently? Things like that. So let's see. So RS. The other good thing is that you can sort all of your listings. And I'll even show you how I do that. Let's see. Going up here. So when you want to sort something by a SKU, you click on title, and this is in your active listings section. Scroll down a bit, click on title, go down to SKU, and for me, it can't be, if you put equal to and you put, say, A1 for the tote of A1, it's not, nothing's going to come up. You need to put contains, because if you put equal to and there's other things in there, it's not going to come up. So A1, search. Oop. And this is a list now, 14 items. So I have 14 items in A1 that were a total of $214.86 listed. So I can see everything that's in that tote. And this is also extremely helpful when you're doing inventory. I can search by that tote and go, I have it right next to me, and I can go through everything in that tote, and I can see it all right here. And I might look at something and I see, okay, this camera is getting no looks, nothing on it. So I might want to purge that. Take it out, take it right out of the tote, then end the listing. And it just, the system that I have now works wonderful. When I first started doing this, there was a few times that I lost things, and it is horrible, horrible if you have to go to a customer and say, I can't find it, and I'm sorry, I have to cancel the transaction because I cannot locate the item. All right, so now that's the computer side of it. So, all right, so here is what I was talking about with the S shelving. Oops. Okay, so you can see the tabs, the post-its, S1, S2, all the way down to 7. and I got lots of space. When I did the purge, I started putting things up here, but some of it's been selling, which is great. So I got a lot of gaps again, so I can start putting more stuff on here again. Now, I like to save these shelves. I like to save these for breakable items. You know, anything that if it gets knocked around in totes, that, you know, it could break. So yeah, when you see, if I say S1 or whatever, this is what I'm talking about. All right. And coming over here, and I've got some stuff in the way here. Let's see. There we go. All right, so this is my bookcase section. So I've got a few. This is where I was keeping my comics until I realized just how heavy they were getting. Or I'm sorry, not the comics, the vinyl. I was getting too much vinyl because I was keeping it on this shelf. And I realized, I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't stay there. I do have the 45s here, but these are much lighter. So that's why I had to move them to the rolling shelf. But you really have to pay attention to that stuff depending on how you're storing your items. And plus vinyl, you really have to stand it upright, like on its end like that. You should not, see, you shouldn't have it flat like I just did. The 45s I don't think are as bad because they're not so heavy, but the big ones are, the LPs are kind of heavy. All right, so this in the drawers here, this is my small stuff, and mostly jewelry. So I actually have this as JW1, JW2, 3, and I purged a lot out of there, so there's not as much in there anymore. And I really don't want to, so this yellow thing here, that's the Lego shelf. But I can't really pull out the totes here at the moment. And but I'll show you what I have in the other room. This is my tote system. So I have A1 through A9, and then it will start B1 through B9. And that's as many totes as I have right now. So, and I put them in here just so it's, it declutters the other side. So when I fill a tote, this is where it goes. And when things are sold, then I come in here, grab it, and put them back. Now, eventually we're going to have like a shelf system and have, say, like 4 totes on the bottom. And then there's going to be a board across the top, and then, 4 totes on the top, just to get the weight off, because sometimes these can get kind of heavy, and what happens is it compresses the bottom totes, and it can wreck them and possibly wreck inventory. So these are kind of a little bit lighter right now, so I'm not too worried about it. But eventually I got to get that project done. All right, so I guess that's it for this one. That's pretty much how my inventory system works and how I do not lose anything. I'm pretty well, that's one system that I've pretty well got down, without issues. So, let's see. All right. So, I guess if there's anything I didn't cover or you have a question about how my system works, maybe something I didn't mention, then, comment down below, and I will get that answered. This system works for me really good. Like I said, I mean, it it was horrible when things were getting misplaced and that. And once I enabled the SKU system, and that it's sort of, I could remember things. Um, Usually, because I only had so much listed, I could tell you where any item in my store came from, what town it came from. I could remember which tag sale it was. Um, and when you get up over 500 listings, yeah, it's it's hard to do that anymore. Although I do remember some of them. Plus the death pile. Sometimes I look at my death pile and go, when did I get that? So, uh, yeah. So, like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.